What's up, killer? What is up? Why don't you ever pick up your phone? It's me, man. It's your boy Alen, and tell me you've heard. Feds just rolled in and busted the big five, as in all 5 of them. Gone, kaput, off the scene, out of the picture. Know what that means? The bikers are scrambling. The blocks are turning on each other. It's open season in NOLA, baby. This is our chance to start breaking away, getting out in front. What do you say, man? You ready to go hard in the Big Easy? First things first, let's hit Fatty Gilroy's place. He's got a safe there. Should be lots of good stuff to help us get started. It'll be a simple in and out job. No one's gonna be there.
Hey everybody, what is going on? My name is Marv Gaming, and welcome to Gangstar New Orleans. This is probably one of the most hyped games of 2017, obviously besides Modern Combat Versus, of course. But this is one of Gameloft's bigger franchises. Obviously we know it's a Grand Theft Auto pretty much clone, and they've taken a whole new direction, especially with the art style you can see in the gameplay here. But yeah, so these are my overall thoughts and complaints and suggestions for this new game. It's in soft launch currently. I also want to mention that. So it's out in a few countries, and you can pre-register on their website. I'll leave everything in the description down below, of course, including the Canadian site or the App Store for the Canadian download. If you do happen to have a Canadian App Store account, you can download it right now. As I will also provide the pre-registration site in case you want to get some rewards as well. But yeah, so first thing I want to say is I really apologize for the video quality. Again, this will be a very long video. I've been trying to test out some new recording methods, and this one is called Vidiu or Video. I will probably make a video about it pretty soon on that. But there are some bugs and glitches because it is an AirPlay. So I do first off want to apologize for that. It was the only way I can get the game sound as well, so I do apologize for the freezes and skips. And I also want to mention before I start getting into these points that this is not a hate on Gameloft, or it's not a video to hate on Gameloft. I've always been a fan of them, and you guys could probably say that I am a Gameloft hater if you've seen some of my videos, but I really am not. I absolutely love all their games, even if they do go a bit overkill in terms of like the energy system and in-app purchases. I've been with Gameloft since Asphalt Urban GT2, which was around 10 years ago, so I'm a longtime fan, to say the least. But I also want to say that I know they have so much potential in the company that they have, and they really aren't taking advantage of this. So I guess you could say this is an awareness video for them. Like, if they really get their stuff together, they can make an amazing games. There's just not a lot of innovation going on right now in the mobile gaming community, and these are the things that I want to see improved in Gangstar Vegas. And yes, I know, or Gangstar Vegas, Gangstar New Orleans, or I'm just gonna say Gangstar NOLA or something like that. But again, this is in very early beta. We know it's coming out this season, but we don't know when, so there are gonna be a lot of bugs, glitches. The game could probably totally improve by the time the game comes out, and by the time this video comes out. Anyway, so yeah, so let's get into everything. I just have a bunch of notes here on a script. So first thing I want to say is the introduction. It really isn't that good. You just kind of join in, and you're just kind of in New Orleans. I know in Vegas you had a reason to, like, you had to fight there. I think Jason was his name. Yeah, Jason. You had to fight there for some sort of money, maybe to get you out of debt. I'm not too sure, but you had a reason to be in Vegas. So there's no reason to be in NOLA. I don't really understand that, but I don't really like the introduction, as well as we don't really hear from the main character. This goes throughout the whole game. We never actually hear his voice, really, and you only get to hear Elaine and the other people. I'm not going to spoil it. And as well as in the beginning, you kind of get a CGI sort of thing instead of the actual gameplay, but I guess it's okay. I'd say it's okay for this type of introduction, but it really just kind of jumps in without explaining anything. We know nothing about this guy, this main character, and I actually posted this on Twitter, and a lot of people said, well, the reason is because you can customize him, and you wouldn't want to have a certain background if you can customize him to be different. And all I say is that there are so many options you can have to have any sort of race or ethnicity, and I think that's what the people on my comments were talking about. There could be a reason for everyone to be in New Orleans, I guess. It could be just a generic reason, and I would have been fine. But there is no reason for your main character to be in New Orleans, which I kind of don't like, and it's just a super shallow backstory. But that's not the biggest deal. But yeah, I just want to really touch on this main character. He's so lifeless, empty, soulless, and at least Jason from Gangstar Vegas, he felt so alive and real. This character doesn't. He's flat. He feels like just any other mobile game character, just a throwaway, honestly. But yeah, so I can't go much further without mentioning everyone's, and I quote, favorite complaint, and that's the graphics. Now, to me, they seem like they're trying to go for like low poly graphics. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like, I guess you could say, No Man's Sky graphics, where it's not trying to be the most detailed, it's just trying to be beautiful, but again, low detailed at the same time, which I can totally accept for certain games. But in a game like this, when they try to look like console graphics, but they don't look like console graphics, I guess you could say, it makes the game look super inconsistent. Some parts are really detailed, while other parts are just flat and ugly, to be honest. Also, the distant objects are very pixelated, and they don't look professional, but again, that's, probably because it's in beta, they need to get some more optimization in, and I can totally understand why that's happening. But here we go, guys, the energy system. Now, it was really obvious they were going to add it. There was no getting away from it. But I kind of expected it to be like Gangstar Vegas, where it was only going to be added for events. I love that system because it makes events more hype, because you only have a certain amount of chances to complete them. Now, the same energy system for the main missions is used in events too, so I guess you could take it, like that if you want, but I really would not like it if they made missions cost energy. And because they cost energy, when you go out in an open world, you have unlimited ammo, there's no point. There's no fun in it, because you don't get rewards from the pedestrians you kill. And I probably mentioned that later on in my script, so sorry if I repeat anything in this script or in this video. It's like a page long of notes. But yeah, it makes the open world useless, because in Gangstar Vegas you could kill pedestrians and get money and items and stuff like that. But because of the energy system in Gangstar NOLA, it prevents the character from getting anything out of actually, going into open world and playing for a bit. There's no point in doing that except to like maybe do a jump or something like that. But yeah, so the energy system, I don't like it, but it's there, and it's really not that bad. It's not terrible. I do have to admit. So like the events are only like 2 to 3 energy, while the main missions are 6 to 7 energy. So in that regard, you can play a lot of events at one time, and it refills at an okay rate. So yeah, it sucks to have that there, but it's not too big of a deal. Like when I'm playing, I'm more worried about other things than the energy system. But I also want to talk about jars. Now, jars in this game are pretty much supply drops, supply crates, lock boxes, whatever you want to call them. They're in every game nowadays, and it's very disappointing to see them, especially in a game like this. An open world game, it kind of doesn't make sense for... and I know they had it in Gangstar Vegas too, which kind of sucked. I don't know if they had it in Gangstar Rio. I really honestly can't say for sure. But I just don't like it. And the only issue with Gangstar NOLA's system is in Gangstar Vegas you could straight up buy the item you wanted. You didn't have to go to a box to open it. Because what happened is the boxes were cheaper, but you could also get a wide variety of items, whereas you can straight up buy the item you want for a more expensive price. I like that system a lot better, but in this system, the only way to get anything is to open them in jars, which is kind of disappointing, and I kind of would not like to see that. But again, it's there, and I also want to mention that this sucks for mobile gaming, not just Gameloft. That's why I kind of want to say this is not a Gameloft hate video. This is a mobile gaming sort of video. Yes, it's all about Gangstar NOLA, but here and there I'll be talking about mobile gaming as a whole. But yeah, again, this jar system, crates, whatever you want to call them, this sucks for mobile gaming, not just Gameloft, guys. I want you to realize Gameloft is not the only people who are doing this. Also, this kind of relates to the story. There seems to be like these voodoo zombie, this type of vibe in the game. Why? It makes no sense. It's silly. It's very childish. And when we see a GTA clone or a Gangstar game, we want like an open world crime simulator, which this is. but we don't want zombies and voodoo and all that type of stuff. It really doesn't fit into this type of game. Maybe it goes with the lore of New Orleans. I really, because I'm not from there, I don't know. But to add it into this scale of the game, I don't think it's necessary, to say the least. But yeah, next up is E-Man. Why? why is he back? Nobody liked him. He's just annoying. He really feels like Gameloft was trying to make a Trevor clone from GTA 5, but it never really worked. And what was funny is I saw on Twitter, and I'm not sure if I can get the tweet, but it said, in no way, shape, or form is Gangstar NOLA related to Gangstar Vegas. And I was just like, how is that true if E-Man is here and in Vegas? But whatever, I just don't really like him. He's kind of annoying as a character himself. But yeah, so going back to the world, I feel like the New Orleans is very flat and uninteresting. I'm not talking about actual New Orleans, I'm talking about in the game. Everything is very bare, if you get what I mean. Like, for example, in Vegas, there's a lot of detail in everything. The light reflecting and papers flying everywhere, debris, rubble. I'm not sure if it was developed by the same studio, but I feel like there's just less. I don't feel that it was out-detailed compared to Vegas, or I do feel like it was out-detailed. But yeah, as well as again, going back to the terrain generation, it can't really generate 20 feet in front of you. Well, it can, but it looks very pixelated. Doesn't look good. I'd rather have like a fog rather than just very bad. Looks like a Nintendo DS. Just to be straight up. And yeah, the render distance does make the game look worse. It doesn't make it feel premium. But next up, I want to talk about the gunplay. The gunplay in this game is really, really bad. And I don't blame them, because it's very hard to get an open world gunplay, or very hard to get gunplay in open world. Very good for mobile, especially mobile. So while it sucks, it can definitely be improved. It feels like an RPG, and you'll see in this game, I think, that I get misses and damage numbers, and I really don't feel like that's necessary. I especially hate the quote misses in this game that you can get. I understand they try to make it more dynamic and more in-depth by controlling recoil, but in all honesty, when the enemies have 100% accuracy and are constantly shooting you, there's no reason to put in gun recoil and gun accuracy. It really does not. It makes it seem like there will be a more pay-to-win as you progress, because guns will have better recoil and all that stuff, and especially once you get 5 to 6 missions in, you're kind of stuck. All you have to do is wait for the events in the 4-hour loot box or jar or whatever to even try and get a good gun. And I don't know, as well as like when the gunplay is combined with the cover system, it really does feel like a game based on luck rather than skill. And what I mean by this is, usually you'll have like around 18 minutes to complete a mission at the bare minimum, and what you'll end up doing is you'll sit behind a corner and wait for the enemy to reload so you can shoot them. But some enemies will straight up rush you. They'll have like 20 times your health and just obliterate you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Again, this kind of ties into the pay-to-win system. I think it could be a bug. I'm totally not saying that is right now that it's determined that it will be like that. Again, it's in beta. They could be bad numbers. I mean, it could be something like that, but again, I kind of doubt it. But yeah, I also want to talk about turf defending, and it's like, why? I mean, most of these things that we talk about is just straight up, why would you add this? Now, if you don't know, you can get turfs as you progress in the game, and I think online as well, I'm not sure. And you can assign thugs to defend that turf. So, Clash of Clans. Yeah, that's pretty much what this is. Yeah, there's nothing else I can really say about that. It felt like the gameplay already felt like a bad RPG sort of, but now Clash of Clans needs some action too. I'm not really understand. I don't understand what they're going with this. But I also want to mention, just in general, the overall controls are very unresponsive. They don't feel tactile. Sometimes so there is a melee animation you could do when you run up to an enemy, but sometimes you won't actually be able to do that, and you won't know. So then you end up rushing a guy, and they'll just kind of shotgun you in the face, and you'll be sitting there like, what? I could do that melee to like every other dude, but not this guy. Why? And I also want to mention, this kind of ties in with the enemies as well. Once you get, around 4 missions in, you can't really complete without buying something or opening jars or anything like that. This goes with most free-to-play games. You know, you end up getting 4 or 5 races in or games in or whatever, and then they stop holding your hand, and it really does sometimes become physically impossible without spending premium currency. Now, I haven't spent any premium currency yet, mostly because I don't have Canadian iTunes gift cards, but also just because I don't see a reason to buy anything. If you can find a way to somehow beat the mission without buying anything, then I feel like that's a better achievement than buying something and beating the level with that. So while I'm talking about that, I also want to talk about, you know, in terms of premium currency, grenades and health packs are the most important things in a mission, and you can't buy them during a mission. Also, you can't even buy them using the coins. You have to buy them using the diamonds or the premium currency. What? That makes me mad. Because again, that's the most, you know, the most essential part of an open world game. Health packs and grenades. I know in GTA, I don't think there are health packs, but you regenerate like up to half your health, I believe. But yeah, so health packs cost 30 diamonds. And nades cost 15 diamonds. Again, premium currency. You have to either buy it or like earn it some weird way in the game. You can't just play a mission and you get it, which kind of sucks. You can also get them in jars. Haha, there you go. But why? This kind of just defeats the whole purpose of having those in the game anyway. And I feel like they should be at least, at the minimum, expensive credits, like the coins, I think I should say. Now, again, I'm just going you know, over the overall game, and it really just feels incomplete and slapped together. Like, there's so many different characters. Like when you meet Elaine, he ends up calling another dude who's like, oh hey, you should know this guy, and oh hey, I'm gonna introduce you to this dude. There's no plot. There's no storyline that I can see really. Obviously, it's getting as much turf, I guess, as you can. But in Gangstar Vegas, it was kill Frank or get Frank out of Vegas. That was because you always had a goal to go to, or you know, an end goal. Well, yes, in NOLA you have get all the territory. There's no satisfaction with killing a really bad guy. You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys know what I mean if you played Vegas. But there really is no end, one specific goal in NOLA, which really disappoints me. And the overall story in this game is just jumbled up and mishmashed together, and doesn't really feel right, I guess you could say. It feels like a 4th grader's math project. But yeah, there are tons of bugs and glitches, of course, in this game, and you're constantly hitting paywalls and impossible missions. So in general, there's no more Gameloft polish. Now what I mean by that is whenever you boot up MC4, MC3, Gangstar Vegas, I don't know, there's always just this feeling that you weren't playing a mobile game, you weren't playing Clash of Clans, you were playing something totally different. You were playing, and I don't want to say a console game or a console port, because that's really not what it was. You were playing a complete game. All right, there was always not boundaries. I don't know how to explain it, but there's no more Gameloft polish. Everything seems lackluster, incomplete, buggy, and it overall just doesn't feel like a new whole game, a new universe. It feels like we kind of went back in time to something like what was it, West Coast Hustle, which was the first one. So yeah, that was all the points that I had. Sorry, wow, I'm just looking 18 minutes. But don't worry, I'm gonna wrap this up. So I want to ask the question: why is Gameloft doing this? Why are games becoming the way they are? So I also want to mention I'm in the works of making another long video sort of like this. It has a huge script so far, almost double I think what this is. And that's the topic I will be covering. It should be coming in a month or two, actually maybe a few months depending on how school goes. And it also will depend on the release of Modern Combat Versus, depending if it's paid, free, how bad of free it is, or just my general opinion. Whoops, there goes the chair on that. Now, so yeah, that's what I want to say in terms of my plug for that video. I will be answering that question of why mobile gaming is evolving to what it is today. So yeah, to wrap this all up, I hope Gameloft I hope Gameloft can update Gangstar 5 to make it the best possible game it can be. But I would consider it their second strike. And I'm really starting to doubt my faith in the mobile gaming world. Notice how I didn't say Gameloft. I'm talking about mobile gaming as a whole, because again, this isn't all their fault. They saw other companies making millions of dollars in free-to-play stuff, and they decided to jump on the bandwagon. And I don't blame them. If I'm a company, I want to make as much money as possible, of course. Obviously, without straight up ripping off the customer, which really they're not doing. They're not doing it as bad as someone like Blue Games. I'm being honest with you guys. But yeah, almost 20 minutes. Wow, that is the longest video I've ever made. But yeah, tell me what you guys think of Gangstar New Orleans in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.